Alright guys, I was thinking about the comments that were on the post that I posted about the shaking of the hands in the Samchen the other day. And there's a lot of interesting comments, a lot of good back and forth conversation on certain things. But I want to point out something, okay? There's a couple different things that I want to point out. One thing is part of the training is the relaxation of the arms. There is a difference between relaxation in the arms and the tension in the tendons. So what the goal is basically is you're trying not to use your muscles. Instead of using the tension in the muscles, you want to use the tension in the tendons. So to try to get away from using the tendon or the tension in the muscles, you have to relax the body. You have to relax those muscles. So it's a good thing to work on relaxation, but you have to be careful to form an attachment to relaxation. So every step along the process, what happens a lot of times is, even with the masters and the grandmasters, they get really high level with certain things, but a lot of those guys also get attached to a certain area and a certain focus. So what I want to point out, well, first of all, when I say they get attached to a certain area, a certain focus, like weight, okay? Some guys really like the weight. So they work on weight, and that's what they're known for, is weight. But that is in itself an attachment. So the system works on detachment. But attachment or detachment doesn't just work within the body, it works within the mind. Okay, so if you're attached to any one skill set, then that is attachment. So that means that you are actually stuck on that thing. You cannot move past that thing unless you free yourself from that attachment. So when I hear people talk about the weight, like I just said, or the whip, okay, I hear a lot of guys out there that talk about the whip and how amazing it is, and the White Crane system used a lot of whip, but the system that I learned did not just use the whip. They used the whip and the weight and the yi, okay. One of the posts, one of the comments that somebody said, or that had on there, said something about you know, the vibration is an expression of the jing. Okay, so let me talk about that for a second. So on that point, when we look at relaxation of the arm, okay, if I relax my arm and throw it out, let's say for a pak sao, okay, so instead of, you know, like this with pak sao, or even like with hung fai, you know, you're coming up and working on the lines and the gates, and you're covering all the center line, three-dimensional space, and all that kind of stuff. That's not the same thing. We're working on detachment. Okay, we're relaxing the arm. So if I relax the arm and throw it out, and all my muscles are relaxed, I throw the arm, and then this part basically vibrates. That's not the same thing that what we're looking for. Okay, that floppy arm, I call it floppy arm syndrome, but this here is relaxation. It's good if you can do that, but there's no weight on that. So if I see somebody doing that, I'm like, okay, so they have relaxation on the arm, but they're not whipping, and I don't see, there could be weight, but I can tell when I look at it if there's weight on there or not. Okay, this is not weight, this is weight. Okay, now I'm not really focused, so it's not a lot of weight, but I can feel it. Okay, and if I watch the video long enough to see a person's form or their movements, I can tell if there's weight or not. Not everybody can do that, but if you've been through the training, you can see it. So this is relaxation through the arm and just throwing it. There's no whip there, there's no weight there. Okay, there's no tendon tension there. But if I do this, I'm doing different things here. This is with the whip. This is with whip and weight. This is just throwing the arm but with the tension. You notice there's no snap to it, and there's no expression of the weight there. Okay, so now there is yi, and there is a focus to throw the energy forward, but this is still technically external training because you're focusing on the tendons, the muscles, relaxing the muscles. So this is the external body. This is the physical body. This, it's a very small portion of it is, very small portion of it is actually the chi and the yi. If I want to shut that off, I can still do this. That's external. It is not internal. This is not internal. Now if I want to do internal, then that's this. So it's hard to see. It's not extremely clear, and somebody who doesn't know this training is going to be like, ah, that's a bunch of crap. What is that nonsense? But you can feel it, and that's why, like, and a person with experience can see it. Okay, so somebody like myself, I started training this system back in 2009. So if I remember the date right. 2009 when I moved to Ohio and started training with my Sifu like on a regular basis. I was training since 2007, but with him since 2007, but since 2009 is when I really started my training in the HKB system, which what I call Kung Tao, which is the original name. So please don't get that confused. You know, because when a person has enough experience, they can see it when they look at it. Let's say I look at a video or I feel it. Okay, so this is something that has to be felt. It has to be seen by somebody with experience. If I see it, or if I feel it, or if I see a person training with a training partner, you can see it, you can hear it, and you can tell what's going on. If you've practiced it enough, you've been around it enough, you know what it is. So I can tell the level of power, I can tell where the skill is at and all that stuff. So with that said, I want to also point out that don't get taken for a ride when people are saying they've got, you know, this ability or that ability. Okay, so I'm going to show you a second thing. Okay, now this is going to be a little bit hard for me because I have to actually try to do it wrong. Okay, so it might take a couple tries. But if I'm doing my form, the Samchen form, then it's normally done like this. Okay, just that starting part, and then it would come back and out, and you see the vibration. But what I'm doing is I'm tensing up the tendons right there. Okay, you see the shake, right? I don't know if you can see it with the video or not, but the shake is there. And I squeeze the fingers, and that's squeezing the tendons. Now if I go out and I squeeze the tendons, the more I squeeze, the more I twist, the more vibration I get. But the same thing can be accomplished at a lower power level without detachment. So if I'm at power level 1, okay, if I'm working on like level 1 Fating in that system, then you're working on whip, weight, and intent. I've posted this before, so it shouldn't be any surprise. So if I do that, I can still express that power level and still have all this tight. Okay, so that's where people get confused. There's people out there that have this power level, okay, and I'm gonna show you in the form, and I'm gonna show you with expression of strikes. This is just the basic stuff, okay. So if I go forward, up, back, like this, and I have muscular tension, okay, and I'm not actually like fully accessing the tendons, I can still access the tendons. I can still get the chi to the hands. I can still get my yi to work because that's what drives the chi, okay, and then I can still achieve the level 1 power. So if I do it that way, it looks like this. Okay, so my upper body is really tight right now, but the vibration is still there. Okay, so even if I don't jerk so much like I did that time, this is still first level power. This is actually a lot of attachment in here. So when you do this, if somebody's form looks like this, I mean, if I do this too long, I'm going to be sore. My whole upper body muscles will be sore tomorrow. You do it the right way, your tendons will be sore. Okay. Now with striking, now if I'm loose and relaxed, it looks like this. Okay, or so this vibration, this is relaxed also. This is with tension in the tendons and the squeeze on the fist. Okay. If I snap it, then now if I do it the wrong way, if I'm doing it with level 1 power, well, it's not wrong, it's just level 1 power. If I do it with level 1 power, then the strikes would look like this. So you're using the body. I'm loading up. You see that? So, loading up. That's how you tell the difference. Okay? So, for me, I can see it. And I hope that is a little bit better explanation. There's no stagnation of the chi because the yi controls the chi to the hands. So even if you're tight throughout the upper body, it's still going to flow there. You're still going to have a really good flow of chi. It depends on how much you train, how much time you put into it. But what's going to happen is that it is going to, let's say maybe 20%. You're going to have maybe a 20% loss of energy flow, because when you tighten your muscles, what happens is your yi is distracted on those muscles. So if I'm focused on tightening these muscles to achieve more power, then what happens is I'm mentally thinking to flex those muscles, and that takes away from the mental thinking to put the energy in the hands. So you're going to have about 20-25% power loss. Okay, so that's not an extremely large amount, but it does make a slight difference. Okay, so I want to kind of explain this for you guys. Maybe it'll help. I'm not sure, but I want you to understand the difference between basic level power, relaxation, and tendon tensioning, and what happens when you go through these things. Okay? Alright, thanks.